one of the main problems we have, and I have, is determining what I think the direction could possibly be. Of course, I'm learning now it's very important to kind of catch the overall market sentiment. The news and stuff like that is very important. Not that I care what the news is, but just when news happens, market tends to move in a direction, or at least react or impulse, and it could stay in that direction all day. So what I'm trying to do is basically just start from the top down and look at the day chart. And we're trending down underneath the 50 and the 20 EMA here on the NASDAQ, or the micros for the NASDAQ. Okay, when prices in the danger zone like this, or underneath the two main EMAs, the 50 and the 20, and now you can see it's rolling off of it. I wouldn't be surprised if it continues down and we get a correction down to the 200 moving average. That's a big time frame, though. This thing could go up, like we went long here, we went long here. You go long anytime, you can go short anytime. Well, you still just need to kind of understand, which way this thing's going. Dropping down to, the 60-minute chart here, everything's under the 200 moving average. It does not mean that this thing can't spike right up to the top side, and keep going and have a bullish intraday or morning or whatever the case may be. So, I'm just trying to wrap my head around the idea and understanding of, so I go down to the smaller time charts, and I'm looking for an agreement between certain levels. And what I'd like to see is on the 15-minute chart, well, really the hourly chart, it's very important to me. When price gets above the 50 and the 20, and price gets above it, I'm happy to consider going long, because that means, and especially if it starts to rotate up here, I really like it if it's crossed over, and and everything's above the 200. That's pretty really strong for me. But when price gets over these two moving averages on the 60-minute chart, I'm happy to go long. Okay, let's see what else we have here. Is that the 15-minute chart? Let's take a look at that. Then I look at the 15-minute chart. Is price above those two moving averages? Are they trending up? Yeah, this has been bullish right here. It's been bullish right here, absolutely. If it gets up over the top of that 200 moving average on the 15-minute chart, then those micros for the NASDAQ are going to be bullish. And that's about to happen here on the 10,000 tick chart, which is equivalent to the 15-minute, but I like the way it looks better. I could easily, that doesn't mean it's not going to crash down either, but it's looking like it wants to be bullish. All right, 5,000 tick chart is already, crossed over. Everything's above the 200, and we get down to the 2,000 tick chart, which is where I like to trade with. Now we're seeing it pop up. Looks like it wants to go bullish here, and we started off with bullish days, however, only to have it come crashing down because the higher time charts, like the 60-minute and the day chart, doesn't want to. That's why we do need to see the day chart and the 60-minute chart, because at any moment, price is underneath the 200, and basically the moving averages are still in the order of a bear move, all right in the right order, and it could easily roll over. And so when it looks like this on the 60-minute chart, and it looks bullish on the underlying charts, I can be bullish, but I have to be very keenly aware with my size position. This is what I need to understand. Don't go heavy today. All right? This is not a heavy day. This is a day that if I do need to trade, and I'm trading based on, look at the hourly chart. Look at this big pen tail that happened yesterday. Look at this giant red candle. Look at the crossover of the 20 and the 50. The 20's crossed under, right? It's rolled up over the top and rolling back down with this big red candle and this pen tail. Now, I'm not saying it can't go up over the top of this and keep going strong. We could trade it as it's doing that on the lower time charts, the 5-minute and whatnot. But we have to be keenly aware that in any moment, this thing could roll back down. And see, we can't lose focus of that. I lose focus of that sometimes. I'm so committed to my position that I keep adding, and I'm so committed to the challenge. Like, I'm going to not let this market beat me. I'm going to scalp my way out of this. And I usually can. And I have a record of actually being able to do that and profitable doing that. But it's hard. It's very difficult to fight what the market's doing. And if it changes direction, it becomes a very grueling and grinding day, even though I can get out of the hole 99% of the time. But do I really want to trade that way? I really, really want to make it easier for myself. I want to find the easiest entries. I started challenging myself with just jumping in blindly. I don't know if you've seen any of those videos. I've said I wanted to take a challenge. Okay, I'm just going to buy one micro anywhere and see if I can make a profit on that. And I'd close my eyes and I'd just put buy. And 99% of the time I could break even or have a very small loss or usually make some kind of money on it. And it's very difficult. I want to make this easier for myself. Okay, so I'm trying to find what I think might be the direction based on the news events or what happens in the sentiment of the market, and kind of wait more patiently and find better opportunities rather than just jumping in blindly. So I'm changing my style a little bit in terms of entry positions and how I'm going to get in, when I'm going to get in, and trying to coordinate all the moving averages and time charts to give me a better signal. All right, so let's see what happens today. Okay, all I'm looking for to go bullish here is for it to get out of this range on the 10,000 tick chart or 15-minute chart here and kind of close above the moving averages and consolidate and start to push up. That's all I need. In this range, anything can happen. The 60-minute chart is stuck in the middle of these two moving averages, which is the caution zone. All right, if you're trying to go, short, it's a reversal area. This could easily go up. I would like to see it close. It's closing up and down over the 20. I want to see it consolidate and push up. So I'm bullish, really, even though the day chart looks like this. Okay, I'm bullish. Well, it's the green candle, but this is a very strong move down right here off the moving averages, which look bearish. But during the day, we can have a bullish move, and we need to be ready for that. So for a bullish move, I need to see from the 15-minute, really the 60-minute, I need to see it above the two moving averages. To go bullish, it's got to be above these two moving averages for me. I can try to go bullish on the 15-minute chart, which is like the 10,000 tick chart. But like I said, it's got to consolidate and bounce and start to push up. This is until it closes. And it is making higher lows, it looks like. And the moving averages are trending up. So I like that. This is why I am bullish biased for the most part. So we're just waiting for a little more confirmation, a little bit more momentum. And we'll be ready to go long on this. All right.
Order filled.
I like this. It could easily fail, but I like this pattern. 2 tries sell, consolidation, momentum, push up. Now it could come down. I'm thinking if it comes down, I'll add into this area down here. But I'm just long 1 micro. I'm long 1 micro because I'm definitely willing to add if it comes down into this area right here. As long as it doesn't go below this pivot pintail right here. Because if it does, then I'll have to scalp and break even and get out of the trade. I won't be looking to go long all day long. I'll just want to get out of it. So let's see what happens here. I mean, it is sweeping a liquidity level here. And what happens is it swept the liquidity level, and then it continued to stay up in that area. So I was thinking, okay, maybe it's going to keep pushing through there. So let's see what happens on this trade right here. Plus a decent looking candle on the 15-minute chart. I like it came down, reversed, swept the liquidity, bounced off the 50 moving average, came back up strongly. If it stays up here in the upper third and consolidates, it could definitely continue up. Now, it could also just continue to come down and consolidate sideways and come back under the 200. And if it does, and then it breaks this candle's low, I'm going to just look to scale out of it. I'm not going to fight it all day long. If it wants to go short, then I'll try to see if I can go short with it. But right now, I'm looking for the bullish move. Let's see what happens. All right, it's come down to the area where I said I was going to add, so I'm going to go ahead and grab one real quick right here. Just check it out. Boom, boom, boom. Let's grab one.
Order filled.
Now we're long 2. And if it breaks this pivot right here, I'm just going to try to get out of the trade for break even. Because what it's done is, see, it's sweeping liquidity underneath. It went up to sweep liquidity on the top. It could just keep chopping around, or it's preparing for a big head fake move to either side. We've seen it head fake after liquidity sweeps, and we don't know which way it's going to go. So my mistake on this was I did not let it consolidate above and then push. I got in way too early. So let's see how it plays out here. All right, it's coming all the way back into the range. Like I said, if it breaks this pivot right here, we're going to be in trouble to get out. So I added one more. We're long 3, and if it pops up right here, I'm just going to get out for break even. Hopefully that's what'll happen, and if not, then I'm going to wait patiently, look for support levels to try to scalp out of it. The big mistake is just I did not let this consolidate above the high and push and keep pushing. That would have been a better entry. So impatience is what got me on that. Let's see what happens here though. All right, it's down at this support level. It did not sweep the bottom yet. And it's just ugly that it came all the way back down here. We're up to 6 micros. We've got the average price right here. All it's got to do is come up here, and we'll get out of half the trade. And I could get out of all the trade if I wanted to, actually. So the choice is mine. I may just get out of half. That way I can keep some for the run back up if it runs back up. So hopefully it'll come up here and just get a little bit higher, and we'll be able to get out of half this trade, and our average price will be all the way down here at this level.
Order filled.
All right, so we're only long 3 contracts now, and our average price was right there. So we'll see what happens. We're in a better position if it does rotate down, and we'll see what happens. Okay, the opening bell just happened. Let's see what I did last here. We did scale out of some of those here and had 3. As soon as it popped up, I sold 2. Now I'm only long 1. And we're up about $75. And what I like about the scaling process is that we're not even up to where I originally got in, and I'm already $75 up profitable. That doesn't mean it's not going to reverse and I'm going to get challenged. I could close my position right now, completely close it, and be up for the day on that trade that we started up here. I hate that I had to fight it though. So this whole thing could have been avoided. I could have just simply started buying down here at the bottom and really had a great profit. So I got a lot to learn, guys. I got a lot to learn. So demo account, keep learning. I got my Apex accounts ready to go. I got my live accounts ready to go. When I really do see great, perfect opportunities, I do trade those real money accounts. And right now I'm still trying to work out some bugs on the demo. All right, so how did the day turn out? Well, we ended up with a little bit of a profit here, but I was fighting it again all day. You can see here in the simulator, I was up $116 on the far right, but it was tricky. I was trying to figure out which way I thought the market could go, and it did end up going up nicely, strongly, but not before it went down. And you can see right here in the hourly chart, top left, or 15-minute chart even, this is where I literally bought at the highest point of this, and then it rolled down, and I added. As soon as it popped up, I was profitable. I should have taken that profit or broke even on my trade. Technically, I was up, but I held on to 1, and as it's dropped, I just added to my position to get a bigger size, right? You can see the same thing here in the hourly chart. When it went up on this candle here, I was profitable, and then I held for this dip down right here. Now, if we take a look at, let's see, the 5,000 tick chart, same thing. I just want to get a good look on everything because it's helpful to see where everything might have been changed or have done better. Here I bought at the very tip top. When it bounced and came back up, I was profitable and I should have gotten out. So when it started breaking down below all these moving averages, that's when I should have had, I should have reassessed. But I'm so used to being able to scalp and get out of the situation that I think that's created some bad habits. Again, we ended up having to trade about 40 micros at the most, and somewhere up in this area at the top, you can see it better on this 2000 tick chart what really happened as we look at it closely. Here we go. Where I started my trade, it bounced, I came up, I was profitable right here, and I just held one all the way down. I started adding and adding. I scalped here. I added 1, I was long 3, I scalped here. And then I added down here and I scalped up. And then I finally decided to reverse it and go short. That's probably could have been my mistake, because after I went short, I made this nice profit to the downside here. And then when it popped up, I tried to short some more and short some more. And basically, I was fighting it the whole time. I covered some here. I added, covered some here, right? And then I added and added. and added. I had 7 micros here, and when it dropped down, I covered some here and only had 1. When it went up here, I added a couple and I added, and then when it got down right here, I could have broke even for like a $2 loss. But I didn't. And I held it, and I held it, and I just kept holding it and adding and scalping. Covering. I'd add. It just kept going straight up. So all the white circles is when I added. I started adding 5 at a time, scalping 5 at a time. And then I started adding 10 at a time. And one time up here, I added 20. And I was short 40 at the most, at the very top. And by the time this big circle finished, I was doing a lot of scalping in this area, too much to really record. And by the time we got down here, I was up $116 with about 15 minutes left of the day. And I closed out for a profit. So what are the major mistakes that I made today? Well, I made 4 major mistakes. Number 1, I got in at the tippity top without it consolidating and pushing up higher. It just poked and it was a failed breakout. Second mistake I made was I was up $75 right here when I added and it rolled back up. That was my plan the whole time. I could have closed that trade for a profit and rethought everything, and I would have never been in this trade on the way down. The third mistake I made was to short at a support structure. This white line is a support structure. I shorted right into it. That was okay, but when it came back up, I started shorting again. This was the mistake. Not necessarily shorting right here, because this actually was a good short. But I continued to try to short when it already did the liquidity sweep. That was the third mistake. The fourth mistake is that I kept adding and scalping a little bit. I scalped here, which helped me out. I scalped here, which helped me out. And then when it rolled back over here, I could have just closed it for a break-even trade and reassessed everything. That's the fourth mistake. I stayed in it and I fought it all the way up and barely survived. So what we need to do is continue to be aware of these mistakes and weaknesses and overcome them by the grace of God, and we will be better traders in time. So I hope I can, Lord willing, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace.